Lupe. I went to Janelle's this afternoon to study. Of course, before we could get started, she wanted to dish about Raoul. Him and me had our first date over the weekend, and as far as Janelle's concerned, it's the biggest news since we all had our pictures splashed across the local paper. I know she's dying to find out what happened. She called me twice, but I was at the library. She left a message asking if we planned on doing a love poem duet or for assembly in a few weeks. That girl's crazy. I am looking forward to our last open mic Friday, though. So you finally went out with him, said Janelle. Yeah. Well, what? I bite my tongue to keep from laughing. I know this is killing her. What did you and Latin Loverboy do? We went to a movie. And what? We watched it and he took me home. And nothing. Now, can we please get to work? Girl, you're no fun anymore. All you want to do is work, work, work. Yeah, well, fun ain't going to get me through history or trig. Janelle stuck her tongue out at me and cracked open her history book, looking all disappointed. I balled up a piece of paper and threw it at her. She looked up, surprised, and threw it back, laughing. Then we settled down. It's great having somebody to study with, even though I do okay on my own. Mr. Ward says if I keep pulling up all my grades the way I've pulled up my English grade, I should be able to get into a decent college when I graduate. That's what I'm planning on. I want to go somewhere out of state, somewhere away from home, away from Berto and his drinking buddies. I'll miss my sister, Christina, and her little Rosa, though, but I don't see them as much as I used to anyway. I'm too busy with school. I'm not sure what I want to major in at college. I know I want to do something with kids, though. Maybe become a kindergarten teacher or a pediatrician. Gloria says I still got time to figure that out. Keeping my grades up so I can get into a good school, that's the main thing. Christina says I'm the smart one. I envy you, Lupe, she told me last night. I could hardly believe my ears. I wish I had gone to college, she said. Getting to college takes more than wishing, I can tell you that much. I've got an exam tomorrow, so I better put in an extra hour of study. I don't know what the questions are going to be, but I want to make sure I'm ready for whatever they throw at me. Imagine by Lupe Algarin. I walk by a mirror, catch my eye, wonder at the universe behind it. Past the flashing eyes is a file for yesterday's sunset, dripping mango light for Poppy's laughter, tinkling in my 5-year-old ears. So many years gone by for tears shed below a crucifix on my wall. I sort it all out, store it under been there, done that, and open a clean drawer labeled Manana, a place to store adventures I'm still learning to imagine. Tyrone. Something's different about Lupe's voice. It's still soft, but it's like there's steel running through it now. I don't think I'm making that up. Anyway, I know one thing's for sure. I don't catch her staring off the way I used to. She's always looking straight up now, paying attention to whatever the teacher is saying, like she's afraid to miss a word. I see her running off to the library a lot lately, too. Something new is definitely up with that girl. Deandra. It was an accident. I didn't mean to leave them out for my father to find. At least, I don't think I did. That's what I told Lupe when she asked me what was wrong this morning. I was still upset about my father throwing a fit when he found my art school brochures last night. You'd think I'd stabbed him in the heart the way he looked at me. I'm sorry he feels so bad, but there's nothing I can do about it. I've made up my mind. If I can get into art school, I'm going. Mr. Ward thinks I have a good chance of getting a scholarship. We'll see. Mom says my dad will come around eventually. I'm not so sure. Before I left home today, I slipped a poem and drawing of Michael Jordan into my father's easy chair under the remote. That way he wouldn't miss it. I was planning to give him the drawing for his birthday, but after seeing those brochures, he looked like he needed a transfusion, so I'll wait. Maybe a drawing of his hero will make him feel better. Besides, doing basketball portraits is the closest thing I'll ever get to my father's dreams for me, so I might as well let him enjoy one now. I hope Mama's right, though. I hope he does come around. I'm just not holding my breath. Self-Portrait, a poem for my father, by Deandra Jordan. I've told you this before, but I guess it bears repeating. Love is not me being who you want. Your definition is a whirlpool trying to suck me in, and I'm drowning. Don't you see? Don't you hear? I'm gurgling, battling for air, wishing you cared about what matters to me, but you can't, or won't. Either way, I dip into my imagination, grab a rail, and pull myself free. It's time, Dad. Time you stop telling me who to be, how to live. This is my portrait. You chose your canvas. Let me choose mine. Tyrone. I didn't see her first few poems, but I dig this one. The future is ours. Let us have it. That's what she's saying. That's what we're all saying. But I'm lucky. These days, my mom's ain't trying to push me one direction or another. She's just glad I have one. I read this poem I wrote called Dream, about doing hip hop with my own band, and she started crying. My moms don't cry easy, so I felt bad. But she said they were happy tears. You keep writing, baby, she said. You're doing good. I love my moms. Portia Johnson. I slam my lunch tray down on the table across from Leslie and Chinkara. Deandra looks up, startled, from the next table, then turns back to her lasagna. The minute I turn 21, I am changing my name. I say to no one in particular, I mean it. Why wait? Says Chinkara. We've had this conversation before. Why not change it now? I shake my head. It's too complicated. Fine then. Count to 10 and try this. She slices off a quarter of pizza from her plate and shoves it in my mouth. Chinkara is the problem solver. She has no patience for talking a thing to death. Do something about it or shut up is her motto. I guess she's right. But one of these days, the name Portia will have to go. I'm tired of providing oversized boys with the raw material for adolescent jokes about me being a high-maintenance mama or some sort of luxury item. Then there are those oily, leering, dirty old men on my block who drool or wink at me when I pass by on my way home, asking if they can take me for a test drive. Please. But for now, I'm stuck with Portia. I can live with it a while longer, though. It's amazing how easy it is to get a bad reputation. My whole life I ran around letting people pick on me, laughing it off when they teased me, fast talking my way out of fights. They'd call me Four Eyes or Stuck Up or Miss Bug-Eyed Bookworm, and I'd pretend their words were water and let them roll off my back. Now I'm nobody's duck, and their words stung a whole lot more than water. But I held my temper. It took a bully 9 straight months of writing me to cause my thermometer to boil. And once I lost it, did anybody blame it on the bully? No. They started calling me crazy, whispering it behind my back. It was as if that other Portia, the easygoing, even-tempered one, never existed. Truth is, she always did, always will. Deandra and Chinkara know that. And now so does Leslie. If only the other kids knew the truth. I could never beat anybody the way I beat Charmaine last year. I'd be afraid to. What if I couldn't stop? What if there was no one around to pull me off? I could kill somebody. I know it's in me. I've got Mama's blood running through my veins, haven't I? She came close enough to killing me more than once. When I was 12, she went on one of her tears and punched me from one side of the room to the other because I didn't wash the dishes. I don't think that was the real reason, though. She was probably just stressed out from working overtime, from dealing with a hard-to-please new boss, or from juggling bills, and I caught the hard end of it. But who cares about the real reasons? The thing is, the same kind of ugly anger lives in me. I couldn't really see that until Charmaine brought it out. I have to make sure that monster never shows her face again, no matter what. So I find ways to keep her in check. When the anger rips a hole in me now, I punch a wall or run till the wind cuts off my breath. Once I sat on a curb running a piece of broken bottle across my fingertips. Lucky for me, the shard had a dull edge that left a jigsaw of scratches on me, but not a whole lot of blood. I know it was a stupid thing to do, but anything's better than allowing those fingers to hurt somebody else. I couldn't live with that. Not again. Not ever. No, these kids have nothing to fear from me. They just don't know it. Leslie says I've got to learn to let people in, and I know she's right. Poetry just may be the way to do that. I mean, it worked for Devon, didn't it? And Tyrone. We all got to see another side of them. Even Janelle gets up there, Miss Shyness herself. I've never seen her turn so bold, although the boldness only seems to last as long as she's up front reading her poems. Still, that's something. Tyrone was the biggest surprise, though. Who would have guessed he wrote poetry? And he knows his poems by heart, no less. Every Friday, there he is, the first one to raise his hand when Mr. Ward asks who's got something they want to read, and he's always the first one up if Mr. Ward gives him the chance. No goofing around like he usually does either. He's all business. He takes center stage, clears his throat, and smoothly launches into his rhyme. The first time he got up there, I rolled my eyes like half the sisters in the class, certain he was going to spout something lame or nasty about girls and sex or gangsters. I mean, that's all we ever heard him talk about, right? But there was nothing lame about his poem, and none of it was about sex. It was about what's going on in the world and about trying to make sense of it. It was a poem by somebody who really thinks about things, and that somebody turned out to be Tyrone. He made me change my mind about him that day. Maybe I can change people's minds about me too. It's worth a shot. I better do it quick though. There are only a few open mic Fridays left before school's out, and the last one will be at assembly. And I don't plan on getting up in front of a whole group of strangers my first time out. Friday is 2 days away, and I know exactly what poem I'm going to read. A Letter to My Mother by Portia Johnson. Dear Mom, with the hypodermic needle in your arm, I never said goodbye or joined your funeral procession because I was too angry at the time. Leaving me seemed to be your choice. Why make it? Was it something that I did or said? Weeks after you were dead, those questions hammered me until I thought my heart would shatter. But then, as my friend told me, the why of your absence doesn't really matter. Besides, I'm older now and understand a little about pain and the crazy things it drives us to do. So even though this may be overdue, remember, some things are better late than never. Mom, I finally forgive you. Love, Portia. P.S. Goodbye.